What's going on, the Clock fans, man? Hey, man, it's been a long time, but I got my boy Tyrone Benson here, man. Reggie's out in Detroit. He gave us a full-fledged report about what happened with the BUCS versus Detroit. Congratulations to the BUCS beating Detroit, who is nothing but a contender for the Super Bowl. We got a lot to talk about, man. We got a lot of college football to talk about. Florida, FSU, Texas, Georgia, Kentucky. I mean, you name it, man. We got to get going on. NFL-wise, we got to talk about what's going on with the Bengals. We got to talk about the Jets. We got to talk about how the Saints just stomped all over you Dallas Cowboy fans. Trash. We got it all right here, man. Listen to me. It's a beautiful, beautiful Monday in Tampa. It's September 16th. Let's get it going. We on, man. We ready.
Are you ready for a podcast about sports and current events that's worth a damn? Well, you're in the right place. This is On the Clock Radio. Funny as hell, and they love to argue. Let's do the damn thing. You're listening to On the Clock Radio with Raul Lezcano, Reggie Edwards, and Tyrone Benson.
Tyrone, my boy, what's going on, man? How you been, my guy?
Can't call it, man. Just working and coaching and traveling to go see my son play, man.
I hear you, man. I hear you coaching. What's the age level you coaching again, man?
11U.
That's a tough age. That's a tough age, in my opinion.
I've been with these boys since they were 8, so.
Dang, that's a long time. That's a long time building.
Yeah, I mean they know what I want from them, and they right now we're undefeated with 4-0.
Nice.
And we got scored on for the first time last Saturday, so
yeah,
that was the only time we've been scored on all season. Pitch shutouts, and
yeah,
hey, it is what it is.
Man, I got
the last touchdown we get all season though.
I got a freaking. When I tell you, I truly believe it. I have a national championship caliber team, you know what I'm saying, on the 13U for the West Chase Colts, man. When I tell you these boys, I mean, they can play. They can flat out play. The only thing, you know, with kids at that age level, 13, 14, you know, you can smell yourself a little bit with these videos and chicks and stuff. You know how it goes. But, man, when it's on, the lights on, I mean, they're ready to ball. It's pretty fun to watch. It's pretty fun to coach, too, man. You know, of course, Jaden's on the team, and he's got his friend Samir and Bam and Aiden and all these other guys, and, you know, Troy, CJ, and, I mean, the list goes on and on. Nolan and Dre. I mean, these guys. And when I show you these boys, man, if I showed you, you'd be like, those kids don't look 13, 14. I got a kid named Dre who his beard connects. And this dude's beard is connected. I'm like, this dude has a mortgage and 3 kids.
I'm 41. I ain't even got a beard.
But they're balling.
I've been growing this little goatee for about 9 months now.
That's what you got, huh?
That's all I got.
That's all I can kick out.
Ross beard before I die. Get a Rick Ross beard before I die.
Yeah, man, they doing good, man. It's you know, Jaden's last year of youth football, man. So it's gonna be my last year of coaching youth football. You know, unless something comes my way that it's promising, but. You know, for me, it's on to high school, and then like you did, you know, watching Tayshaun play all those years. I'm looking forward to just going out on Friday nights and have my weekdays back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean that's probably the best. That's the best thing that I ever did was just step away from coaching the whole time he was in high school and just focusing on him and being there for him. And like I said, like I tell everybody, the conversations in the car were different. Because I wasn't coach, I was dad then.
Yeah.
And so I didn't go to practices. I mean, I knew the defense scheme because I ran Heritage defense his whole career.
Yeah. But
it's like, you know, I didn't know what schemes they did for that game. I didn't know game planning. So I was like, hey man, what you grade yourself tonight?
Yeah.
He'll give me a grade. I was like, all right, cool. It's like, hey, you should have broke one of them. You should have had 2 more touchdowns though.
Yeah.
And just little things. Like it wasn't nothing negative with them in the car when the car rides home. So
yeah, I look forward to that, man. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
I do a little bit with
good.
Jordan. Jordan now, you know, he's in high school. I'm still tough on him sometimes, but the conversations are different. You know, hear from his side, his view of what you know, what he's looking at and stuff, man. It's actually pretty freaking nice. But anyway, man, I had to get. I know it's been a while, man. You know, schedule's been crazy, changing and flipping everywhere. I want to jump. Let's just jump into college right now. College football is, this is going to be the first year that they do the 12 playoff thing system, right? So I'm interested to see how that goes. I know they said the first two, ones and twos get a week bye. Then the other 10 teams will play. So, okay. Listen, man, college football is up, down, left, and right. You know what I mean? Let's start right here in our home state. We're going to start with the University of Florida, okay? They are calling for
trash.
Right, they're calling for Billy's head. They want this man gone. Now, here's my thing. Here's my take. I understand Billy doesn't make it look like he's ready to play, whatever the case is, but I honestly think it's the quarterback play. You know what I'm saying? You have a freshman.
I don't think so.
Man, listen, they got a freshman on that squad that I'd rather see him go through these struggles, and now you have an understanding with the fans, the boosters, the president, and everybody else that, hey, I'm trying to groom a freshman quarterback. So you can say that. You can't say that when you have a kid who supposedly has played this position a lot longer, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? There's no way you can sit there and tell me, okay, this is what you go through with this type of quarterback, and it's not true. You know what I'm saying? Like, for me, I can't swallow that. And that's why everybody in Florida Gator, Gainesville, is having a rough time trying to understand why he keeps starting this kid. You know what I mean? I don't know.
See, I'm not a Florida fan. I like Lagway, but the gauntlet schedule that Florida has, they need that leadership. But Gators defense is trash.
Yeah,
they
but
can't stop nobody.
Okay, but bro, okay. So when you say trash, are you talking because they can't tackle, scheme-wise, they don't have the athletes? Because I don't believe that. I don't believe they don't have the athletes.
No. Yeah, they got the athletes. It's the schemes and then tackling and then knowing your assignment. Because, like, come on, man. I don't know. I can't even put it in words. Like, I called the first game of the season when they played Miami. I called them the Florida Buffaloes.
Right. Because
they can't stop nobody. Like, they just cannot – they can't get off the field. So, I mean, you got teams going for it on 4th and 5 against them and making it. And then, it's just – I don't know. The defense – for me, it's the defense.
Well, for me –
I got a problem with the quarterback.
I do. I got a problem with Mertz. I don't Graham Mertz, God bless him, a senior. I know probably Billy's trying to do him right. In the sense of, like, let me do him justice and let him play and this and that. I understand that shit, okay? There's a couple things for me. Well, number one, and I know I shouldn't. I know this is going to be petty as fuck. I know it's going to be petty. I know it's going to be petty. I get it. Nobody in Gainesville should be wearing the number 15. That's number one. Nobody in Gainesville should be wearing number 15. Now, if you have the gall to wear number 15 in the University of Florida, you better be able to produce. You better be able to do. I mean, this last game, bro, he went 12 for 15, $195. Okay, solid numbers, I guess you could say, right? Loss was 33-20, but
what Florida team's throwing 15 times a game, though?
There you go, 15 attempts. Now, if you have a power running game, like a true running game that's really solid, I can understand those numbers, but you don't have that. You don't have that.
Exactly.
So offensively, for me, you're 3 and out every series, and the defense is only getting maybe 2.5 minutes to 3 minutes of rest because you can't sustain drives. So now the defense got to go back out here. We got 3 minutes of rest. We're getting ran through. Okay, maybe we do stop them. You go back on offense, 2 minutes of rest. Now my ass is back out here on another 8 to 9 minute drive because you can't do anything. So I understand you don't like defense. I know you say the defense, but it's like, damn, man, you got to meet them in the middle because there's some stops that the Florida comes up with. They put, Texas A&M in punting positions like, okay, we're going to get the ball back. But in 3 and out, fumbles, interceptions, like, you got to be able to play better. Somebody in Gainesville has to make the call and say, hey, Mertz, you got to sit down. At halftime, I don't know why you look, we're at halftime, it was what, 20-0.
They were down. Yeah, they were down. It was slaughter rule.
Right, so let's put the freshman in and try to see what we have in the future because you're not going to – the way you guys are playing is not – you got to spark the offense some way. Mertz isn't going to run. Mertz is not going to run. So guess what? I'm just going to sit back and let this kid throw. I'm going to let the 4 D linemen do their thing, maybe do a couple stunts and twists. I'm going to send some linebackers at him. I know he's not going to run. The DJ kid, DJ Lagway, now him, he's a problem. I'd rather go through the lumps and bumps with that kid than have to rest of my season on Graham Mertz. And remember, bro, this is a business now. You get paid millions of dollars, and you're only remembered from your last season. So if you plan on coaching in college football or even making it to the NFL, you're only as good as your last season.
Nah, he ain't going to the NFL now.
No, I know, but if you ever had dreams or hopes of it, you know what I'm saying? You can't just tank a Power 5. This is University of Florida. This is the Florida Gators. You know what I'm saying? So my question is, let's go worst case. Billy gets fired before the next game.
Well, they're already calling for Lane Kiffin. They're already calling for Lane Kiffin.
Right. But here, and I know they are. So my question to you is, if you're a Florida Gator athletic director or president of whatever the case is, football operations, you're the guy that got to make decisions. You have a team with you, and you guys are going to talk about, okay, let's talk about scenarios. We fire Billy in the middle of the season. We have some coach, interim coach, just, coach the rest of the season. We're going to take our lumps, whatever. Do we fire Billy and call Lane and say, we want you, or do you fire Billy and you make a phone call to Nick Saban?
Well, Saban already said he ain't coming out of retirement.
Everybody says that till some money's thrown their way.
Saban don't need no money.
Man.
I'm going to tell you now, Saban's not going to, and plus Saban won't go because how he went from LSU to Miami to Alabama. But Saban said a long time ago he would never go once he left Alabama, he would never go back to another SEC school.
Really?
He made that clear a couple of years ago.
I just don't think Lane Kiffin's the answer either.
I don't think Lane Kiffin will leave because as much power and control as he has over there at Ole Miss, he ain't leaving Ole Miss. He's sitting pretty. That's why he's been there the longest.
Right.
He's sitting pretty over there.
So then who is the guy to call for the Florida Gators to redeem themselves? Because they're not the only ones in this boat here. The other team that's in the boat, another Florida team, is FSU, which I don't know if you saw. I posted it. I posted the video of the quarterback practicing while in the background a coach is running around squirting water on football players. Like, what do y'all got going on at practice?
No, I posted that, buddy.
Yeah, but I took it.
I posted that.
I took it. I reposted that. But I mean, bro, again, what do they got going on that they're gonna you know what I'm saying? Like, now you have 2 Florida schools and you got to compete now, because if you get word that Lane Kiffin might want to go to FSU instead of Florida, you know what I'm saying? You got to have a list of coaches. I don't know how long that list is. I don't know who's out there.
It's not long. It's not long.
That's what I'm saying.
Because
you probably got 3 names.
Most of these coaches now, especially in the Power 5 schools, they're sitting pretty with the NIL, the power that they have over their program.
Years of contracts.
They're sitting pretty. Right. They're sitting pretty.
Yeah.
So I don't see nobody leaving what they got to go try to build up a program bring back a program like Florida.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. That's a good one.
See what I'm saying? Like, because again, you're gonna have to, you gotta get in the running somehow. Because if you're gonna fire Billy, well, first of all, if they fire Billy, they owe him a lot of money.
That's why I don't think they're gonna fire him.
That's why,
the end of the season.
Right? And well, even if they fire him at the end of the season, the contract says they still owe him the money. He has a pretty sweet contract, so I don't know, man. I don't know if Billy, like, he's got Mississippi State, right? He's got Mississippi State coming up. Then he's got UCF, Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Texas. So let's put it like this: Tennessee, Kentucky, Georgia, Texas. Those are 4 losses.
Yep.
Those are 4 losses. You might as well put maybe not put the freshman in, but those are 4 losses. LSU.
Even with the freshmen, those are 4 losses.
Right, but you can at least look competitive. You can at least look competitive. So, yeah, you're right. They're going to lose, and I still think they get blown out the water, but at least you lose with some kind of competitiveness. Because remember, they'll sit there and go, hey, we lost that game with a freshman, but yet we lost by 2 touchdowns. The kid has some experience. We put some things around him. Maybe we can do something. You know what I mean? Then those conversations happen.
If Lagway is not starting by UCF, he will be fired after UCF if they lose.
Listen, man, he's going to lose. So those 4 games. The only game I see here, well, not only, but LSU, he might have a chance against LSU because Brian Kelly. So. Well, Brian Kelly to me is a good coach. He never has his team fucking prepared anyway. So after those 4 losses, you're right. Florida might just throw in the towel and say, "Fuck it, I'm not. I got the draft coming up. Those seniors are like, screw this. I'm not really going to give it all. We're not going to a bowl game. We're done. You know what I mean?"
Right.
But then he's got Ole Miss, and then he has Florida State as the last game of the season, and that's going to be only for bragging rights. That's all that's going to be for.
That's going to be the worst. That's going to be like a 3-6 game.
This schedule, whoever approved this fucking schedule, had to be. They must not have seen this. They had to be crazy to think that they could play these teams. I mean, Jesus, this is a tough schedule, man.
The schedules come out like a year or 2 before, so most of them are already penciled in.
Right, so they're thinking 2 years ago we're solid. We're gonna get these guys.
Right, and then freaking, the SEC has 14 teams now, so
yeah.
So 90% of your schedule 95% of your schedule is SEC teams. So you ain't getting out of those. So conference games.
Lane Kiffin, they're calling for him to go over there, but then across, up the state, north in Tallahassee, you got Florida State. They're 0-3 right now. Lost to Georgia Tech, Boston College, and Memphis. Now Boston College and Georgia Tech, solid teams. Memphis, Jesus.
Nah, not at all.
Jesus. They play California, at 7 o'clock. So that's going to be a night game. So we're going to be able to see that a little bit. The whole country will be able to see that. Then they got SMU after that, which they might be able to pull off SMU.
Nope, they'll lose SMU. SMU is good.
Okay, well then we got a fucking problem there.
SMU is good.
Then they go into a tough schedule. They got Clemson, Duke, my Hurricanes, North Carolina, Notre Dame. So you got Clemson, Duke.
I heard shit from North Carolina. I've heard shit from North Carolina this year so far.
Yeah, but for some reason, North Carolina comes out and they'll rush for 300 yards on a Hurricane or Florida State. Or you know what I'm saying? Like, for some reason, they'll just get it together and they'll freaking be able to put some drive together or some craziness, and then you're down by 14 points before you know it.
Right.
And again, you're right. I haven't heard much noise. They might just blow right through those guys. But Clemson, Duke, Miami, Notre Dame, out of those 4 games, where do you see them coming out? If you see them coming out 4-0, 3-4, 2-4, like, what do you think?
Clemson, they'll lose. Who else I got? Clemson, who else?
Clemson, Duke, Miami, Notre Dame.
Duke, I don't know. They're like silent assassins. They just pull out their ass
right.
and beat shit out
for whatever reason. Yeah, I agree, because they do it to my Hurricanes all the time.
Yeah, they're like a silent assassin. They could be 1-5 and come out there and beat your ass on any given Saturday.
Yep.
But Duke's a toss-up.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, they'll lose Notre Dame. Notre Dame has too much speed. God, they're so fast.
Yeah.
Even though they lost, even they got their little hiccup, but God, they're like an old machine right now. Right. And then Miami, they're gonna lose Miami.
Yeah, I think so too. I think this is the year we'd be able to get them. I think like significantly, like we beat the brakes on them.
Miami's gonna kill them.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
So
that's what I'm hoping.
You posted something earlier or yesterday about how you go from 13 and how you gonna go from 13-0 and turn around and be 0-13.
Yeah,
like you can't cry national championship 1 year and then the following year you're 0-3 right now.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
you wasn't even in none of these games.
It is a mind-boggling. And again, some of the worst fans. I know the people say Hurricane fans are really bad. I get that, but these Florida State fans are they living in the Bobby Bowden era, and they still bring that shit to 2024, even though Bowden ain't been coaching for like 20 years. They'll sit there and still bring those eras. Like, we still Florida State. Like, no. You're a trash dumpster juice team right now. You're 0-3, my boy. You can't be 13-0 in 1 year saying that you got cheated out of a national championship run. You know what I'm saying? Got 60 put up on you by Georgia, talking about you didn't have your quarterback. To come back the next year, had the whole summer. Georgia Tech didn't put on you, but Georgia Tech gave you a surprise, let you know what was going on. Then you fall to Boston College, and then you fall to Memphis. You know what I'm saying? And if you hear Norvell talk, he just keeps saying, we're going to keep getting better and better. I'm like, okay, I hope so. Because Florida and Florida State, y'all losing these recruits, and I hope they come down to Miami. I hope we get them 5 stars that y'all can't keep anymore because of that program. Nobody wants to be part of that losing program anymore.
Yep. We got a cornerback at Heritage right now. He's a 4-star or 5-star. I'm not sure how many stars he got, but anyway, he decommitted from Syracuse to go and commit to Florida
Really?
over the summer. Yeah, but I think that shit's gonna fly off the radar.
Yeah. See, and again, what surprised me, like you said, the silent assassins for Duke. Kentucky was a silent assassin on Saturday when they played against Georgia. Georgia now, they squeaked by. They won 13-12, but Kentucky gave them everything they can handle, man. I mean, they threw everything at Georgia that they could, man.
I won't even say Kentucky is a silent assassin because they've beat Florida 5 years in a row, and you know they're. I mean, they got a talent, and for some reason, Kentucky gives Georgia issues every time they play.
Yes.
It's not the first time.
Exactly.
And so every time they play, Georgia squeaks by a touchdown or a field goal in this case or whatever. Like they squeak by Kentucky every time, no matter what. So it's something that Kentucky has or they know.
Yeah, scheme-wise, styles make fights. Yeah.
I mean, truthfully, they should have won. I watched that game. They should have won that
game. My God. Me too, man. There was so many. I mean, they had so many chances. They had Kirby Smart on that sideline going nuts. I mean, cussing, throwing headsets. He was just pissed off about what was going on.
Yeah, Kentucky. The last time Kentucky had the ball, when they fumbled. Yeah. And they were driving and they fumbled. That was it for them. Yep. They shot themselves in the foot.
They did.
I mean, it was a great game. I can't lie. That was a great game, and I didn't think. And they were gashing Georgia up the middle on the runs. They were killing them.
I know it, man. I know it. They were 1 or 2 tackles away from breaking them things, man.
Exactly. Yeah. Luckily for that, they safety. I forgot to say his name, but he saved about 2 or 3 touchdowns.
Yep. Agreed. Agreed. The other team, Texas, man. Texas loses their Heisman hopeful. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna lose his name here in a second. What was his name? Anwsers.
Error.
Oh, I apologize for any Texas fans.
EWEN or some shit.
Yeah, it was something like that, right? Let me.
Yeah.
Quinn Anwsers. God, I can't say his last name. Yeah, EWERS. Errors. Yeah, sure. So they lose him to an abdomen injury. I don't know if he's ruled out for the season. I don't think he is. I think he was ruled out for that game. But enter 6'4" quarterback, 225 pounds from New Orleans, Arch Manning, who, by the way, I don't know if you saw when he ran for that touchdown, clearly
he was pulling away from the cats.
Yes, clearly his grandfather's genes skipped over Peyton and Eli and went straight to the grandson because he looked more athletic than those two combined. Okay.
Right. But you got to remember, his dad was a freaking beast. He freaking had back injury or some shit.
Who, Coop?
His dad. Yeah, Cooper was. Yeah. He was the best.
Coop was a receiver. Cooper was a receiver. Yeah. So combine that with Peyton's arm and Eli's arm, you know what I'm saying? Now you get Arch Manning, which I thought he looked freaking phenomenal. I thought he looked really good. Not to say that Quinn couldn't do it and Quinn wasn't looking good, but to be honest with you, man, they looked really good. Arch Manning, who again, 4 touchdowns in the air, ran for 1, beating freaking UTSA, which I know is not a great team, 56-7, but that's what you're supposed to do, and it's not a great team. You're supposed to take care of business. Texas just looks really, really good, man. And their next game is UL Monroe. They'll cruise right through those guys. Mississippi State, they'll cruise right by them. Oklahoma, they have to play, which Oklahoma and Texas is always a good rivalry.
They're going to beat the shit out of them.
They will. I agree with that. I agree.
Oklahoma looks bad this year.
The game I'm gearing up for is them in Georgia, October 19th. That's what I want to see. Now, hopefully, Quinn avoided a serious injury, so I think he'll be out for this next game because you really don't need him for UL Monroe. You know what I'm saying? So you get an extra week to really heal and get him going. Bring him back Mississippi State, play a half or whatever, and then once you get to Oklahoma, play the rest of the game. But Texas looks really good. If I had to call it, because you told me earlier that the standings changed, which they did. Let's read off here real quick. Standings now is they have. I'm sorry, hold on.
Texas won.
Texas number 1. Georgia went down, and rightfully so because of that Kentucky performance. They went down. So you got Texas, Georgia. You got Ohio State, which, again, Ohio State, for whatever reason, will always be in the top 4 for whatever freaking reason.
But they ain't play nobody.
They ain't play. I agree. And then they're going to go with Michigan. I pray Michigan puts it on them.
Shit, they look terrible.
Yeah, I know. But I'm still praying. Alabama, Ole Miss, Tennessee at 6, Missouri 7, Hurricanes at 8, Oregon 9, Penn State 10, USC 11, and then Utah at 12. Is there anybody in that top 12 list? Because remember, it's the first 12. Those 12 teams will get the playoffs. Is there anybody in those 12 that should be in there that they're missing or can make an argument for? Because I think they got it right.
No, that's right now. I like that.
I do too.
Because Utah is tough. They were down. When I looked at my phone during the game, like on Saturday, they were down by 17. They came back and just throat stomped their ass. So
I know.
Utah's always tough.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see nothing wrong with it right now.
If you had to make a let's say, and it's way too early to make this prediction. It's way too early. But if right now, today, you were part of the committee, what are the 2 teams you want to see in the national championship?
You can't predict that.
I know you can't, but if you had, that's why I say it's way too early. But if you had to, which one? Because the matchup I kind of excited to see is Texas and Georgia. We're going to get a preview of that.
No, I want to see Texas and Ole Miss.
Really?
Two high power offenses, please.
It'd just be a shootout, you think?
It's going to be a shootout. It'll be a shootout.
I want to see.
I know I'm a Bama fan, but I know Bama, they'll make it to the Final Four, the playoffs, but they'll get bumped out by Texas or Georgia or somebody.
Yeah, when they play a tough team like that, yeah. That was a good call.
But I mean, hell, we play Georgia, and I think, man, hell, everybody thinks, Georgia this, Georgia that. We've only lost to Georgia one time, people. We're 4-1. We're 4-1 against Georgia, people.
Right. I'm gonna have to look up what and I'll talk about it next podcast. I'm gonna look up what they have to, how the 12 game works, because after you play the playoff game, do you get bumped out and go play another bowl game, or are you just automatically out and that's it? You get no bowl game.
Oh no, you're out. That's your bowl game.
Gotcha. So that game, whatever you're playing, is the bowl game.
Yeah, that's your bowl game.
Yep. To try to get in there. Okay. That's gonna be interesting.
Yep, that's your bowl game.
Yep.
So it's gonna be interesting. So yeah, it's going. I like it so far. I love the fact that NIL money's taking over these schools, and the schools that were dominant, like the Florida States and stuff. Now everybody got money now. So now you get your ass beat by anybody now.
Yeah, and again, this AP.
That's what helping you.
Go ahead, bro.
Go ahead. No, I'm saying that's why I like SMU.
Yep.
Hell, they're coming back into a fold. I mean, SMU, they got hit with a death sentence. They were terrible for years.
Yep. Yeah,
and now
true.
they're starting to find their foot. They're starting to find their footing now because SMU's backed by a billionaire sponsor, alumni. So
yeah,
you give them NIL money, they can break the bank out for your ass now. So. Yeah, some of these schools some of these small Power 5 schools or teams that are jumping into Power 5 conferences, the smaller schools, they're starting to make noise now.
Do you think that college football just want to make people happy and tell them, hey, we're going to do 12 teams, you're going for a college playoff? But do you think it's a waste of time and they should just still do the top 4? How long do we go with this system for the next 30, 40 years?
I think it's going to expand after about 5 years. Watch. It's about 18 teams. Watch.
I think that's too much.
Because you remember back in the day when we were growing up, there was only maybe 10 bowl games.
Yeah.
For the bowl.
That's it.
Now everything has a bowl. Has a bowl game. The Walmart Bowl, the McDonald's Bowl. Everybody has a bowl game. The bowl season starts December 1st.
Exactly.
And it rolls all the way through. Bowl season start the day after Christmas, before Christmas, or something like that.
Yeah.
And it lasts like a week and a half. Now bowl season is like almost 2 months now. Yeah. So this is ridiculous.
I agree with you, man. So college football is going to be interesting. It's going to be fun to watch. October 19th, you're going to get a preview of Texas and Georgia. I'm looking forward to that game. It's way too early to call it. But week by week, we're going to see it. And again, like you said, if Billy can't get past UCF with a win, he's fired immediately. I think he gets fired during the season. If they fire him during the season, they got to pay him all that money. So Florida's got to be prepared for that option too. Gator fans, you might not get this guy fired. You never know how that works out.
Well, hell, and they still paying old boy, the other coach they had before.
Yeah.
Before Napier.
Yeah. Mushenkamp, what's his name? Something like that.
Muschamp.
Yeah. So he's still getting paid too. So you'd have to pay a coach not to coach your team, and then find the money to go ahead and pay the new coach. You know what I'm saying? So you got to deal with that. Norvell over in FSU still dealing with what he's got to deal with. We're gonna see how this works, man. I don't know. We're gonna see how this works for those two teams and see where those organizations fall. Going to Sunday, a lot of great Sunday games. The first game I want to talk about, of course, is Saints stomping the crap out of the Cowboys in Dallas. Alvin Kamara totals up for 4 touchdowns. I mean, he just buried the Cowboys. Just embarrassed the whole Cowboy nation. You know what I mean?
You know, I'm smelling something. I'm sad Reggie's not with us. You know, he's in Detroit. He was at the game.
Yeah.
But for some reason, you know where the Super Bowl's at this year, right?
It's in New Orleans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it just smells like they know that, and they're trying to play in the Super Bowl this year.
Exactly. I mean, first of all, Derek Carr looked. I mean, he's looked better. These last 2 games he's played, he looks really on fire, really focused. This last game, 11 for 16, 243 yards. I mean, he threw 2 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara rushed for 3 and received 1. So, I mean, they looked, I mean, they just stomped them, bro. Like, when you look at the film and you look at the tape, I mean, up front, there was so much push. You know, it makes you wonder, did the Cowboys go out the night before, like Varsity Blues, and have a good, night out? I mean,
I don't know. The Saints got new OC, and it seems like he's opened the whole playbook up now.
Well, open the playbook, but I mean, he's just getting the ball in the hands of the people that can do what they're supposed to do. I didn't think they used Alvin Kamara that much last year.
Right, and so Alvin Kamara, he's having a ball this year because, like you said, they're using him now.
Right.
I mean, he's always been one of the best dual threat running backs in the league since he's been in the damn league.
Agreed.
And so I think when he lost Sean Payton, that's when they were going through all the turmoil, and he wasn't getting the ball that much, and he was injured. But now it's like, dude, now he's touching the ball. He's doing his thing. He's doing what he does best.
Yeah.
And so, like you said, I thought Derek Carr looked phenomenal today.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
anticipation, throwing. I mean,
right.
And then just managing the game, making sure he don't screw nothing up. He did have an interception in the game. It was off a tip from the receivers or whatever. But okay, we'll chalk it up to him. But Jesus, Dak throws 2 interceptions in that game. I mean, after getting that huge contract. It just seems like we go through this every single year, and it gets boring and more boring. Every year, after one win, the Dallas Cowboys are going to the Super Bowl. They're the greatest team ever, blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Then the Saints come in where you're thinking, okay, we're going to stomp the Saints. And the Saints just show you, look, man, the bowl is here in New Orleans. It comes through us. So, right. I don't know, man.
And then they've scored on every possession they've had this season so far. A touchdown or a field goal, they've scored every time they touch the ball.
And for Dallas, for me, I know they got down early, so they had to throw the football. I understand that. But again, watching the first half of the game, where it was still relatively not close, but yet, it wasn't out of hand yet. You know what I mean? The first quarter was 14-3. You know what I'm saying? Second quarter, 21-13. So in my mind, the game's not out of reach. You tell me if I'm wrong, if I'm thinking that's wrong.
No, not yet.
I mean,
it's a one-score game.
Well, I'm sorry, not 21-13. I'm saying they scored 21 points in the second quarter. Dallas only had 13. So by halftime, you know what I'm saying, it is 35. It's 35 to 16 is what it was. But I know they had to throw, but early in the game, in the first quarter, it just looked like they were never going to run the ball. Like, I don't know.
They ain't got a running game.
So this is where okay, I know you spend the fucking $55 million, $60 million on this guy, but why are you abandoning the run? Like, every team that goes to or make a run in the Super Bowl or deep in the playoffs has a run game. You have
and
to.
Everybody knows, even Dallas fans, Dak is not a quarterback. He's not a shootout quarterback.
At all.
He can't get into a he can't get into a shootout.
Agreed.
He's not. He's not that guy.
So this is my question. We're just two guys doing a podcast, and we can see this shit. As an NFL coach, why are they struggling to see this? What are the? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, it irks my nerves. Like, Dak ain't gonna sit here and go score for score with Patrick Mahomes and them. It ain't gonna happen. You might get a good tough fight in the first half, but that third, fourth quarter, it ain't happening. It ain't fucking happening.
Not at all.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not at all.
And I was never sold on Dak. Even though the numbers and fantasy and all these, he's most accurate quarterback. His numbers reflect the same as Patrick Mahomes and this and that. It's like,
but it's easy to be accurate when your basis of your offense is dinking and dunking.
Well, but again, the one column that I rate all quarterbacks are the win column. You can throw 5,000 yards. If you are fucking 4-16, who cares? Win the game. I need to see, can you win the game? Brock Purdy, and people call me crazy, Brock Purdy struggled yesterday. He had a tough day as well. I mean, he really struggled yesterday. Again, I'd rather have Brock Purdy leading my team than I would anybody else.
Niner fans understand Brock Purdy because Brock Purdy, he'll have at least one or two of those games where he throws 3 or 4 interceptions.
Right.
Then he's lights out the rest of the year. So, he even last year he had those games down the stretch that he threw 3 interceptions, 4 interceptions.
Right.
But it just comes with the nature when you throw the ball as much as they do.
It's going to happen.
It happens, right?
Right. This and again, this just me. Minnesota, who got Sam Darnold, who played for the 49ers, I'm sure gave him all kind of keynotes to the offense. Okay, and San Francisco only lost by a touchdown. It was 23-17. Brock Purdy didn't look amazing, but still threw 28 for 36, 319 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and that was a bad fucking day for this kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a bad day for him.
And you forgot. And San Fran ran the ball.
Oh yeah, Jordan Mason, which McCaffrey's still a great running back, but Jordan Mason, 20 carries, 100 yards, averaged 5 yards a carry with 1 touchdown. His longest run was 22 yards.
He's a Marshawn Lynch type running back.
Yeah.
He's a battering ram. So
Right.
I watched him last week, and I'm like, "What the fuck is this cat? He ran all over the Jets."
Looking at right, the freaking Jets. Looking down the future, I can see a 1-2 punch with these guys. Jordan Mason, McCaffrey help you keep McCaffrey healthy down the stretch as well to get into the playoffs. You have a 1-2 punch with these guys. Yeah, I'm okay with a good running game and not having Brock Purdy have to do every single thing to win a football game. But Dallas, I never was sold on Dak Prescott. That's why it took him so long to make a contract with this guy. I know you're signing because you don't want to go backwards. I understand that. And I always told people Dallas has the most money. Now, I didn't really think Jerry Jones wanted to give that money up. I thought, okay, maybe they're not going to give it to him. They gave it to him. That's great. But Jesus, man. Dak has a game like this. Next week he's going to look, oh, look, he came back, through adversity. Look at us. And we're back now. We're them boys. And every year we say the same thing. Like, come on, guys. I don't know. And it's week 2, long season. I just don't see it happening for those guys. Going in the AFC route, my freaking Dolphins on Thursday night, we lose Tua, which...
All hail Skylar Thompson.
This will be our final subject for the night. But again, bro. Well, no, it won't be our final. Let me say this. Should Tua retire? I
think so. Only because he had 2 big concussions at Alabama.
Huge.
He had them 3 since he's had 3 since the last one.
Now wait. This is what I tell people when I say that. He's had 3 in the NFL. 2 of those were within 6 days of each other.
Right.
One happened on a Sunday, and then Thursday night, the other one happened. He suffered 2 concussions within 6 days of each other. It was not very easy. That's tough to do that. And everybody knows, hey, man, you can't, Tua, get down. There's no reason to run this freaking ball. Get down, roll, slide, do something, but don't run this goddamn ball. He did it anyway. I think the time for Tua is gone. I think Tua should also give a text message to Brian Flores saying, okay, my bad. Maybe you were right. But... I think Tua need to get back half that damn contract he just signed. Fuck no, I ain't giving it back. I ain't giving it back either. I'm taking that $45 million plus my other 45, and I'm out of here. I'm making $90 million. I'm walking away from football, and I'm gonna go to Hawaii and start a rock band. You know what I mean? Like, I'm done. But again, that's me. I don't know. They got to make that decision. Tua, though, before that happened, 3 interceptions. We were getting blown. The doors were getting blown off the walls from Buffalo. We can't handle Josh Allen. We couldn't handle Cook. I mean, we just looked like we didn't prepare at all.
But Buffalo owns y'all, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But at least,
years.
again, bro, competitive. Be competitive. I can handle the loss. When you come onto the field and these dudes look like, it's like Little League football, like the 14U is about to play the 8U, because that's what it looked like. We look like we get spanked by Big Brother. You know what I'm saying? It hurts my heart because it's like, shit, we got all these Lamborghinis around here running around on the football field, but we can't do nothing at the quarterback spot because this guy can't stand upright. It's hard to swallow.
Even when he's upright.
Even when he's upright.
Even when he's upright, he ain't getting the ball. He ain't getting the ball to him. So
no, 3 interceptions. 3, no, not even challenging interceptions. 3 straight to the defender. So we have that. The other team I was going to talk about before we got out of here, which I wanted to give kudos to, was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers took a road game in Detroit. That's where Reggie was. Talking to him, he said, first of all, it's electrifying in that building. He had been there once before, but it wasn't nothing like this. He loved it. His Bucs won. But again, bro, Baker Mayfield is worth every penny that the freaking Buccaneers gave him. He's worth every penny. To watch him get down that field, to win the game, the runs that he did, sacrificing the body, getting in the end zone. Hey, man, I am. Those are one of those success stories that you get really happy about. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to see a comeback. And Baker, whether Baker loses next week or the week after, I don't care. This week, Baker's on top. He beat a what people call a Super Bowl contending team. Because Detroit, that's what Detroit is.
Yep.
Yeah, I congratulations to Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Since Tua's all messed up and I got Skylar Thompson, I will be rooting for the Bucs from now on.
My Jags was a shit show. So
what's going on in the Jags? I thought Doug Peterson. I thought you guys came out the gate looking nice against the Miami Dolphins. You guys looked okay. Now it could just be my team was trash.
Well, I think during that game, oh my God, if ETM didn't fumble, that game was over.
Oh, that game's over.
That game was doing 24-3. That game was over. He fumbled, gave them a new life. Tua hit Cheeto on that slant, took it 80 yards.
Yeah,
that was momentum change right there.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if it's a shit show up there. I think you're in better standing than I am. At least you have a quarterback that can read defenses.
All right. Oh, yeah. I got one more thing.
Go ahead.
One last topic. Should Bryce Young retire?
Bryce Young?
Bryce Young.
Absolutely. I never
God,
saw this kid being, and again, I'm just a guy on a podcast living in Tampa, Florida, and I don't have all the stat sheets. I don't have all the scouting reports that are available to me like ESPN does. I don't understand why the Carolina Panthers were sold that this kid can be a franchise quarterback.
I'm not even saying that. I think he could be a good quarterback, but you traded all of his talent away to get him. And so he's throwing the 80-year-old receivers and stuff, and they did get the cat from South Carolina, but their offensive line's terrible, defense is terrible. It's just like, dude, like, you're just going to retire, take your money and run.
And it's a double-edged sword, Tyrone. Like, it's a double-edged sword. You got to think, and it's wrong the way to think of this, and I agree with you. They sold the whole farm to get this kid, and I'm going to tell you now, I think here's what their line of thinking, what it looks like. I can't say it is. It just looks like on the outside looking in, it looks like these guys thought, okay, he's going to be on a rookie contract for 5 years. After the first 2 years, we'll start rebuilding and start putting pieces around him to help him, if this kid's alive by that time. But he, you know what I'm saying? They're going to go get pieces afterwards. But again, they're losing to teams that are significantly just better. Like, week 1 is the Saints. Now, we didn't think the Saints were for real till they played Dallas and showed they went right through a tough defense like it was nothing. It was nothing. So now I can be like, okay, well, Carolina, you're just playing a super loaded Saints team right now. You lost to the Chargers, who, okay, that one you could say maybe. But they got the Raiders coming up. They got the Bengals coming up. They might beat the Bears. I doubt it because the Bears look like shit too. But then they can win against the Falcons, the Commanders, the Broncos, and then they got to play the freaking Saints again, which they're not going to win that one. You know what I mean? So I don't think Bryce Young should be their starting quarterback. I think you should scrap this project immediately. I don't know why you drag it out another year or two. Scrub this immediately.
Yeah, I agree with that one only because, like you said, if he's alive in 5 years, because, I mean, they're just knocking the piss out of him.
Right.
And today, he only threw for 94 yards. What quarterback does that? My youth quarterback on Saturday threw for 106.
Yeah, ours did too. And you're 11U, I'm 13U. We threw for 100 yards. You know what I'm saying? What they do have in Carolina sitting on the bench, right? They got the red rifle back there. They got Andy Dalton back there. Okay? No, you're not going to win a Super Bowl with Andy Dalton. But again, it's about saving your job and being competitive. At least he gives you who gives you a competing chance on that. You cannot sit there and tell me or you, nobody can tell us that Bryce Young is your competing chance. I'm sorry, he can barely look over the line as it is. The running back is 1 inch shorter than he is.
Exactly.
Okay, there's no way. Bryce Young's sitting at 5'10". I think it's more like 5'8". When you look at him looking at all those linemen. 6'2", Andy Dalton, at least 36 years old, played in the league for 14 years. He gives you a better chance than having to look at Bryce Young do this crazy. I mean, it just looks ridiculous to see him out. He doesn't look comfortable out there whatsoever.
I wouldn't either with that line. But, yeah, I think Andy Dalton to give Andy a shot.
Remember, bro, and I'm a firm believer, the players control the team. You know, that offensive line might just not like Bryce Young. You know what I mean? I don't know. They might want Andy Dalton. I just don't see this. I don't see where you're going to get wins out of this. And I'm a head coach. I'm trying to save my job. I want to make millions of dollars. I don't know.
Yeah, I see an 0-18 season.
No, they got to get 2 wins. There's got to be 2 wins somewhere there. No? So you don't think they can? I don't think they have. I would say they can compete with the Bears or the Falcons. I mean, Bears, Falcons, Commanders. They can win 1 or 2 of those games.
I hope so, because I mean, I don't think they're on week 2. I don't think they got 350 yards total offense. Because against the Saints, they only had like one. Yeah. Against the Saints, they had like 127 yards of total offense.
Yeah, and you were wrong. It was 84 yards, not 94. You said 94 or 84?
I gave him extra 10.
Yeah, you did. You were very courteous to you. Yeah, very courteous of you. He was 18 for 26, 84 yards, 1 interception.
How do you complete 18 passes for 84 yards, though? That's what I'm saying.
Because he threw 1 yard bubble routes. That's what he did. Oh, my God.
Jesus.
It's just ridiculous, bro. Just ridiculous. I'm not a scout. I'm not an owner. I get all that. I'm just some guy that has a normal paying job. But I would never have picked him. Not him. I'm sorry.
I got coworkers that be like, well, if he was number 2 and he put him on the Texans, it'd be different.
No,
they could be.
No,
they could be.
No,
CJ. I don't think CJ Stroud can say that the Panthers is a terrible organization.
I don't know. I think CJ Stroud at least looks better than that. CJ Stroud would at least say, "Hey man, we need to do slide protection." I've heard in CJ Stroud's recruiting when he was doing the stuff. I got to hear the ESPN and NFL Films. They released the whole draft thing about how they do the boards and stuff. CJ Stroud seemed really freaking intelligent to me. There's no way this kid just
Oh, yeah.
keeps getting battered behind that offensive line. You know what I mean? Bryce Young doesn't look like he has a mouth to speak up. He's not even tall enough to say some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he don't speak much. He didn't speak that much at Alabama either, though.
Right. You got to be this tall to ride the ride, and he is not that tall to do it. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. I agree with you. It needs to go away. It needs to go away really quick. It needs to go real quick. That's everything, man. Listen, man. My schedule's changed. Everything's changed. So we'll be back on more and more and more. Reggie will be back, so he wants to talk about his Bucks too when he gets back. He was flying while we started recording this, so nothing we can do. But when he gets back, we need to talk about the Bucks and talk about how this is going to go for their season. I thought they looked really good, really competitive. So it's going to be amazing to watch, man. College football too. If you like what you heard, man, go ahead and give us a like, share on Instagram on the clock 20. Hit us up an email, man. I haven't checked the emails in a long time, but hit me up on email on the clock 20@gmail.com. Especially if you want to jump on here. I don't care if you're a coach, a player, somebody wants to want to have a debate between me and Tyrone about football, man, or any sport for that matter. Come on board and come talk to us, man. Until then, we will check you out later. We out of here. Peace.
Peace.
On the clock. 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 On the clock.
You've been listening to On the Clock Radio. We hope you enjoyed the show. We know we had a blast. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. And we'll be back soon. But make sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at On the Clock Radio. Y'all be cool. See you next time.